What's up, you guys? So, the season 9 trailer for Basketball Wives, season 9 in LA, has dropped. And it shows that OG, despite all of the controversy with OG last season, she has returned to Basketball Wives. And she even made a comment and explained her return. So, we're going to get into that tea. And I am here with one of your favorite bloggers. What's up, Scotty by Nature?
What's going on, everybody? This is Scotty by Nature TV. If you're not familiar with me, I'm Scotty by Nature TV. I talk about reality shows, of course, and I talk about celebrity gossip. I also have a panel called the Whether You Like It or Not Reality and Gossip Panel, which I do with Bunny Blue, Janie That's Me, Josiah's World TV, giving you the real tea, spilling all the tea. And recently we have added Alexander Rogers and Jay Lee's Corner as well to that panel. And I also
Okay.
have another platform called The Prelude that I do with my best friend Jamar84, where we interview different people from the LGBT reality circuit and things of that nature. And we also talk about pop culture as well. So
Yeah.
that's me, and that's all I have going on.
And that's a lot. That was a lot.
Yes, it was.
That's it, but that's a lot. So today we're going to get into Basketball Wives. Scotty is like an OG Basketball Wives blogger. So I wanted to make sure and invite him on this video as we are on the precipice of season 9 of Basketball Wives, which is sure to be a very controversial season. So let's get into the trailer, and then we're going to get into our reactions, and we're going to get into what OG had to say about returning to the series despite how she was treated.
But right, so much time has gone by. Why don't we get a mansion?
So you gonna invite all the ladies, huh? Let's just put that behind us and stop the nonsense.
I'm not taking no It's us against the world.
Okay, so that was really quick. I'm actually going to play it again because it went by so fast. It was only like 20 seconds. So I'm just going to play it one more time, and then we're going to get into your reaction, Scotty.
Okay.
But right, so much time has gone by. Why don't we get a mansion?
So you gonna invite all the ladies, huh? Let's just put that behind us and stop the nonsense.
I'm not taking no It's us against the world.
So what are your thoughts? I see you laughing. What are your first thoughts about the season 9 trailer of Basketball Wives?
So basically, this is going to be Basketball Wives meets Bad Girls Club. That's what it looks like to me.
Yes. And allegedly, from what I heard, they showed one house, but from what I heard, it's actually 2 houses. And I want to get into the tea on how it's set up. And then we're going to get into the storylines for each castmate and the situations that are brewing, that started brewing last season with OG and Evelyn, and how they're going now. Now, as far as the press release that they released, they said to keep everyone safe, they were all quarantined together in a bubble situation. So obviously that's why we see them in one house. And it says the popular girls, quote unquote, popular girls in one house, and then the favorites, the fan favorites in another house. And so it's interesting to me that they would separate themselves into who's popular. Mind you, these girls are 30, 40, 50 years old. They separate themselves into who's popular and who's a fan favorite. And it's like, with such a small group of women, how do you determine who's popular, who is considered a popular girl?
For me, it just goes back to like the early Basketball Wives days when Tammy made the comment to say to, I think that was Mika Claxton when she was on the show. She was like, "You going to be over here with us, or are you going to be with the popular girls?" And when she said the popular girls, she was talking about the likes of Jennifer and Evelyn and Shawnee. She was talking about those girls. And I'm guessing the reason why people would probably say that they are the quote unquote popular girls is because of the way that they present themselves. They present themselves as mean girls. And if you ever look at movies that are teenage based, or even
Yeah, the Mean Girls series, those movies. Yeah.
even movies like that, or just being in high school alone, the popular girls were always the mean ones all the time. Those are the girls
Hmm.
one liked. It had to be their personalities, or they probably didn't have much personality at all. They probably were just pretty. They knew how to dress, all of that other stuff. So everybody would want to be affiliated with someone like that. So that could be what they mean by the quote unquote popular girls. We already know that. And on top of that, when a lot of these girls come on the show, those are the girls that they want to impress, aka Kristen. That's the crew that they want to be with. Evelyn and Shawnee. That's who they would prefer to be in, because I mean they give off that vibe in my eyes. Because
Yeah.
Tammy
I
wants to be down with them.
Yeah, I get what you're saying, and I'm glad you brought up Tammy bringing up that term "popular girls" too. That's why I'm glad I have you, because you're the OG blogger. You remember all that stuff. For
Hmm.
me, I took it as popular girls, meaning the girls who Shawnee likes. That's who I kind of took it. Like they call themselves popular girls, but it's basically Team Shawnee. The people who Shawnee likes and the people who Shawnee gets along with, being that she's an executive producer, they're separated in one house, and
Hmm.
the other girls are in another house. But either way, it's immature. You know what I'm
Very.
saying? Either way, and that's why I say it's so Bad Girls Club this season. We have Bad Girls Club 20 years later when they're like 40 something years old. So, I mean, that's really what it is.
As funny as that is all facts. As funny as that is. And I'm glad that you mentioned the fact that the popular girls are pretty much Team Shawnee. Shawnee's the executive producer. She's the one with all the money. That's who you would want to be around. Unfortunately, it's not like Shawnee has anything else to offer us besides the fact that she has the money. She's the executive producer. She has nothing else to offer to the show as far as personality or anything like that. So I
Yeah.
don't understand why she's there. I'll never understand. But it is what it is.
It is what it is. I think her
Yeah,
situation, we can compare it to Mariah Huck on Married to Medicine, but the only thing is different when Mariah Huck is on the screen on Married to Medicine. Like Mariah actually is funny. Like she has a personality. It
as
comes
much
across well on screen.
and I'm not even the biggest fan of Mariah Huck at all. I'm probably one of the few people that's not. But I can say that when she's on the show, she actually brings something to the table.
Yeah,
Shawnee brings nothing to the table. Absolutely nothing.
yeah. I
All she
can't disagree.
does is like pretend like she's above everything, and she's really not above anything. She's right there in the background stirring the pot, and people don't see that.
Hmm.
You
Yeah,
know,
I think a lot of people are blind to how much influence Shawnee has on the show because she's so bland on camera. I think people are blind to her influence.
another thing
Um,
too, reminds me of when she first brought herself to Basketball Wives LA that fourth season. And when she
mhm.
first came on and she judged those girls, and she was trying to make it seem like her group of girls in Miami was so much more mature than they were. And I was just looking at the TV, and I'm like, how are you gonna say that when, regardless of how Drea and Brandy in Malaysia act, they never hopped across tables on people. They never
Right, right, right.
people and all of that other stuff. They never bullied a girl and snatched her purse and did all of that crazy stuff. So how are they any more worse than y'all were?
Well, I
Like,
think that has to do. Didn't what? There was this rumor that Laura Govan dated Shaq, right?
yeah,
Wasn't that the rumor at the time? So I
yeah,
think that was all. I think Shawnee had beef with Laura, and that's why she had beef with that cast because somebody was casted that allegedly dated her ex-husband. I think that was the root of that beef. But I want to quickly get into the storylines for this season for each of the girls' storylines. And we can start actually, since we've been talking about Shawnee, we can start with Shawnee's storyline. And for y'all watching, I'm in my home away from home and I forgot to bring my contact lenses. So if it seems like I'm blind, I am. But we'll start with Shawnee. Her storyline for this season is
okay.
that she's moved from Los Angeles to Houston. She had moved from Los Angeles to Houston to be closer to her children, but
Mhm.
she returns to Los Angeles to try and help the ladies come to peace after season 8. After all of the drama of season 8, Shawnee allegedly is trying to get the girls together. They're trying to save their sisterhood. That's the theme of this season, saving sisterhood, and they're trying to come to peace. Why you look like that, Scotty? You look like you've been triggered. I can see that even without my glasses. I can see your face.
Sisterhood?
That's what I read. The theme of the season was saving sisterhood. No lies. That's what I read. That's what I read. Can they save the sisterhood? That's the theme of the whole season.
Continue.
Okay. All right. So let's go on to Malaysia. So Malaysia Pargo, her storyline, she's opened up about losing her own brother in a police shooting in 2013. And she's going to discuss her efforts to try and teach her children about police brutality and how to deal with the police after the death that spurred worldwide protests last summer. So similar to Real Housewives of Atlanta, there is a lot of social justice in the storylines of these women, especially Malaysia. And in my opinion, I feel like it's very authentic. The situation with Malaysia and her brother, it's a very real situation.
That's true.
All right, so let's move on to Jackie. We can always count on Jackie, right?
Yes. At least most of the time.
Right, most of the time. Her storyline is that she's looking to mend fences with the ladies and hopes to bring everyone together like Shawnee, but it won't be easy.
Let me just say this about Jackie. Okay, let me just say this about her right quick. I love Jackie, and I'm one of the ones who started off disliking her to the fullest. But I like Jackie, but I do feel like she's another person that wants to be in good with Shawnee and Evelyn and everybody else instead of just seeing what it is. You know what I mean? Well, she can be a disappointment too.
I feel what you're saying. But the one thing I like about Jackie is her consistency. I feel like we can always count on Jackie to be crazy Jackie. You know what I'm saying? Like, I feel like the ladies can get into heated arguments and then Jackie will come through and be crazy Jackie. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's not right. I mean, that's not, I sometimes I want her to unleash that on Shawnee O'Neal sometimes because I feel like she gets away with too much, and I feel like the only person that ever held her to course is Brandy, and unfortunately, Brandy is not a fan favorite. Like, she's one of the few people that has the least Instagram followers if social media is in this situation. Most people don't like Brandy, and I'm probably one of the ones in the minority that really, really loves Brandy and want her to come back to the show just for that alone. But
Yeah, I definitely feel you on that. And I'm just glad, she had to deal with the that whole situation where she got sick. She was in the hospital. I'm just glad she okay. You know what I'm saying? But let's go ahead and talk about Evelyn's storyline for this season. Evelyn's storyline, she opens up about how 2020 was an emotional year for her and attempts to start over by moving into a new home. All right, so let's get into Jennifer.
Oh, God.
Oh, my God.
I'm not a fan of her.
You're going to tell us who you're a fan of. But Jennifer returns following a messy breakup that ended in her car allegedly being stolen. And that was all over the blogs. We saw that on the Breakfast Club. She got involved with a scammer, basically. However, she's in a good place and isn't interested in dealing with drama from the past. Jennifer seems to have trouble in her romantic life as far as who she chooses to share her romantic life with. Like we saw her with Tim Norman and we see how that turned out. And then we saw the situation she got involved with a scammer. Yeah. And so now it looks like her storyline is going to be her situation with the scammer and her not wanting to basically take no mess. We saw on the trailer where she's saying, I'm not taking no mess. Basically. And then we have Kristen. Are you a fan of Kristen?
Not at all.
Kristen, she also has a social justice storyline. Without Cece to bicker with, she's fighting a different way in season 9, and it's against social injustice. So there are not too many details on how she's fighting against social injustice, but she also, similar to Portia from Real Housewives of Atlanta and similar to Malaysia, she also has a social justice storyline.
So in so many words, I don't have a storyline because Cece is no longer here. So I have to find something else to do.
You said it, not me.
Okay. I'm here to say the things that you may not say. That's why I'm here to say. That's what it is. And she don't
All
have
right.
nothing to do. Nothing.
I don't know. I'm not a fan of her either, to be honest with you. I'm not the biggest fan of Kristen, Evelyn, Shawnee. I'm not the biggest fans of them either. But I want to get into Phoebe's storyline. So Phoebe was brought back and she's returning with a new man, okay, some new blood, and also with issues. Some drama with an ex could create problems between her and the circle of ladies on the show. So her storyline has to deal with her new man and her ex, which is kind of typical for basketball wives for them to talk about, their man and their ex-man. I feel like that's appropriate for basketball wives, and I'm not mad at it. I'm not mad at that being her story.
The only thing that I'm mad at is the fact that they really think that we wanted Diet Cardi B back on our screen. Like they really believe that we wanted
not Diet Cardi B. Did we even want the real Cardi B? You know what I'm saying?
we wanted caffeine-free Cardi B back on our screen. Who told them that we wanted her back? We did not want her back. Oh God, I did not like Febreze at all. I could not stand
I feel like the one thing that Phoebe has going for her is that she's with the popular girls. Like Shawnee likes her. Evelyn, she's a friend of Evelyn, and Shawnee likes her. And so I feel like that's what keeps her on the show.
But you know what? There is something that I want to mention because I think I mentioned it when I was reviewing the show last season, but I don't think nobody really knows this. But if people remember, Fabreeze's baby's father is Lance Stevenson. And from what I heard, allegedly, that when K. Michelle was dating Lance Stevenson, that was the baby mother that she made that song about. Her.
What
was,
song?
It's a song on one of her mixtapes. You may not have heard it because it's on the mixtapes, but she had a song called Baby Mama, and she did a remake to Chris Brown's Loyal. It was on a mixtape called Still No F's Given.
Mm-hmm.
That's the name of the mixtape. And a couple, like during that season, I remember someone saying, "That's that girl that K. Michelle was talking about. That's that baby mama."
She's talking about Phoebe.
Yeah, she was talking about Phoebe. And K. Michelle did date Lance Stevenson after she left Love and Hip Hop Atlanta the very first time when she first got her record deal, when she first started releasing her albums and stuff. She was dating Stevenson, and she did say something about baby mama.
That's interesting.
Mm-hmm.
That's interesting. She's talking about Phoebe. Okay. So let's get into OG's storyline. As far as OG returning to the show, she is returning for season 9 of Basketball Wives. And her storyline is she's, I want to say allegedly, optimistic about the future and being among the women again, despite her treatment last season. So her storyline is basically she's glad to be back. Which I think is weird, after the way she was treated last season. And let's go ahead and get into what she said. Somebody asked her, why did you decide to go back to Basketball Wives? And so she responded on her Instagram after she had posted up a video of Wendy Williams talking about Basketball Wives. She responded and said, I'm just here so I don't get fined. So a lot of people think that means she's only on Basketball Wives because it's in her contract. But really, that statement is actually trademarked by Marshawn Lynch, the football player from the Seattle Seahawks. Marshawn Lynch was saying that because he doesn't like to do press. Right. And so if you remember in 2015, he had done all these interviews and said, I'm just here so I don't get fined because he doesn't like media. So it seems like she's saying the only reason I'm posting this video of Wendy talking about Basketball Wives is so I don't get fined. She probably has to do social media in her contract. So that makes me feel like this season did not go well for OG. That makes me feel like it didn't go well for OG, and she's just posting about Basketball Wives because it's in her contract. She's just posting about it so she doesn't get fined.
And I do think that she's only back because it's in her contract to come back. That's what I really believe. And on top of that, I remember her doing an interview with, I forgot what this lady's name is. Oh my God. It was some radio personality. I forgot her name. But she did an interview with her, and the lady asked her, "Are you going to come back next season?" She said, "Well, I do have a contract that I need to fulfill." That's all she would say. She wouldn't say yes or
Yeah.
no. She did say that she had a contract. So I do think that she's probably only back to fulfill her contract. But I did hear that throughout the season, I don't know if it happened the entire season, but I did hear that Evelyn was refusing to film with her. That was the word that's out, that she was refusing to film with OG. And I hate the terms. I don't want to film with her. I don't want
Yeah.
to, like, I feel like it should be in their contracts that they gotta film with this person. It ain't nothing like, if a person is that aggressive or life threatening, they wouldn't even have them on the show. I feel it. So
I almost bristle when I hear the word aggressive, like the hair on my arm start to bristle because so many times, like that word aggressive, you know, we saw it on Real Housewives of Potomac, calling
yeah.
dark women aggressive. It's just like,
Yeah, and what's crazy to me is I know that I think we were talking about this on a panel. We were talking about it, and we were having a discussion about the whole aggression thing, and how we were saying how they were being hypocrites because they all said that OG was so aggressive. But that would piss me off, and it wasn't just because she was a dark skinned woman. It was just the hypocrisy of it all. Because the main ones that's saying that she's aggressive have been
exactly.
aggressive.
Yeah,
Like,
she's been aggressive. I feel like almost I mean, throwing a bottle at somebody's head, that can really do some serious injury.
and
You
the
know what
main
I mean?
one that was just excusing Evelyn's aggression was Shawnee.
Yeah.
I felt that that was ridiculous to say, "Oh, we understand that Malaysia threw the table. We understand. We understand that Evelyn may have thrown a drink here and there." But I feel like OG's aggression is a way of life. Are you serious? Like, I don't like bullies because of my own past with bullies. Like, I don't like
Yeah.
bullies. I think that's the main reason why I can't stand Evelyn and I can't stand Shawnee, because Evelyn is a bully and Shawnee is a bully too. And there's different types of bullying. There's the
Mhm.
bully that's boisterous and
Like Evelyn,
with being a bully, and then you have a silent bully
a
that
passive
goes,
aggressive bully.
yeah,
Yeah, that's Shawnee. Yeah.
that's what Shawnee is. And then you have followers like
Kristen,
Kristen
Kristen,
and Phoebe.
Phoebe.
They're
Yeah.
just as much of bullies as those two are, because they sit
Mhm.
there and they play right into it, and even Malaysia as well.
Yeah.
It's a big disappointment. I just got to say that Malaysia's a big disappointment. I don't have nothing for Malaysia at this point. She's the one that I love the most, and to see her get
You
with these,
loved her the most? You love Malaysia the most?
I used to love Malaysia the most. I
Why?
did.
Look, is it
Okay,
LaQuisha?
yeah, look.
LaQuisha Malaysia Parker. Why
I
did you love her the most?
I used to love her the most because when she was on LA, I felt that she was prejudged when she first came on. Like, they were
Okay.
ready to drag her, and
Yeah, for
I
no
felt,
reason. Yeah.
yeah, and I thought that Laura Govan was a big bully, and
Yeah.
she was trying to see if she could bully her, and Malaysia defeated the bully. So that made me really go up for her in a sense. But
Yeah.
as time went on, I started to see her attitude kind of shift. I don't know if she got too big for her britches or whatever, but her whole attitude began to change. And once she got to be cool with Evelyn and Shawnee, the same two people that did not want her on the show at all, her or her best friend Brandy, you're up under them, and now you're a whole nother person. These are the same women that didn't even want you around. And now you're up under them now. Now you Team Shawnee and Evelyn, Team
Yeah,
Shawnee and
it's so whack. It's so whack. So go for being the underdog. You're kind of the underdog because Shawnee and Evelyn were already friends before the show started. And
Evelyn.
so when you came on the show, you were a new girl. So you were the underdog, quote unquote underdog. But then as seasons progress, there are more new girls, and now they're the underdog. So you click up with the popular girls. It's kind of whack. I see what you're saying. I see
Yeah,
what you're saying now. It's a disappointment.
like, just own it. And now that CC is no longer here, you don't have nobody else to use for a storyline. So now you're about to use this social injustice stuff so you can.
So how do you feel about this? These social justice storylines? I know a lot of people don't like to see it because it's kind of like depressing. Like these situations, when we watch reality TV, sometimes it's a getaway. Like people want to watch TV and kind of get away from the problems in their real life. In our real lives, we deal with social injustice. So sometimes when we watch TV, especially reality TV, we just kind of want to get away. What are your thoughts on having, like, Kristen has a social justice storyline, and so does Malaysia and Portia on the Real Housewives of Atlanta? What are your thoughts on that?
And I don't want to sound ignorant at all.
And let me say this before you give your thoughts. I like to think this is a no judgment zone. At least with me, it's a no judgment zone. Yeah. Like I watch TV for entertainment. I watch reality TV for entertainment. Let me be specific.
Yeah.
So it's a no judgment zone.
Okay, so in my honest opinion, I think that we should not have those types of stories on reality shows, especially when people feel like reality TV, especially Black reality TV, perpetuates certain stereotypes that people don't like to own, in so many words. So I don't think that this is the place for us to talk about social injustice and stuff like that. I personally don't feel like it. I don't.
You know, there was a rumor, allegedly, that Malaysia was actually dating Jamal Bryant. Did you hear that rumor?
Yes, I heard that.
And I want to know, would you rather her talk about that? Would that be more appropriate? This is reality TV. It's not supposed to be.
I would rather her talk about that than to talk about the other stuff. I would rather talk about that. Because, I mean, Malaysia has never really talked about her relationships during her time.
Not too much. Yeah, she doesn't say too much.
The most she ever discussed it was when she had a divorce from Gennaro. That's the only time, but even then she didn't really go into anything.
Yeah, won't deep. Yeah.
Transparent at all about her divorce or her relationship. She's never been transparent. To be honest, Malaysia never really had a storyline.
I was wondering if you was going to go there. Because I'm thinking to myself, we spending all this time talking about Malaysia, and I'm like, Malaysia, she don't really add nothing to the show.
Yeah, I mean, now that I think about it, she never really had a storyline, and I think they really kept her around because she was a fan favorite. That's what I think. And I think that a lot of us really didn't care that she didn't have a storyline because we liked her so much. She was the underdog, and a lot of the time, I always tend to root for the underdog. It's the same thing with Royce, Brandy, and
I did like Royce. Royce to me was like a fighter. She was like an underdog, but she was like, you know what? I'm gonna fight my way to the top. I'm not intimidated by any of you women. And I did love Royce for that. I loved her for that. I wish they would bring her back on the show because I loved her for that.
Most definitely. I love Royce. I feel like Royce could do no wrong. I love Royce.
Yeah, I love Royce too. To this day. This day, I still love Royce.
I still hold out hope that she will come back. I still do.
Yeah, she would be a great addition to the show. And while we're talking about additions to the show, I did want to mention we do have 3 additions to the show. One is Liza Morales. Let's get into her team. So Liza Morales is the ex partner of Lamar Odom. So she's going to be joining the show. And then there are also a set of sisters. They are doing the sister thing again. Nia and Nariah Dorsey, who are sisters, who are also joining the cast. They're entrepreneurs, and they're joining the cast to spice things up. So from my understanding, they're joining the cast of Friends of the Show. You know, a lot of times they use Friends of the Show to spice things up. So far, I haven't seen too much tea about them. I did look on their social media. They look like fun girls.
Well, when it comes down to it, I wonder what they're going to bring and what side they're going to fall into. You know what I mean? Like, which house are they going to stay in? Like, are they going to be over there with Shawnee and all of them? Or are they going to be over there with, you know, Jackie and Jennifer and OG?
My best guess is that they're going to try to get on the side of Shawnee because Shawnee is the executive producer, which kind of makes these reality TV shows, when you have the executive producer on the show as a cast member, it kind of throws things off. You know what I mean? Because people can't go to who they naturally gravitate to. They have to kind of save their job. Like, we all want our job. So they kind of have to gravitate to the executive producer, which is Shawnee, which kind of throws things off. That's my opinion. I haven't seen that. I haven't read that, but that's my opinion, that they're going to be with the popular girls.
Although that's your opinion, I do think it's fact, though, because that's how it comes across to me, because they do that. And not to mention, it was a show that came out maybe now 4 years ago. They had it on VH1. It was a show that was very similar to Basketball Wives. It was actually called Baller Wives, and I think
Liza Morales.
Yeah, Kiafa Big was on there. She was the executive producer of that show, and they used to curse her the hell out. Like, they used to curse her the hell out. Like, she had beef with a lot of those girls on that cast, and she never used her EP credentials to try to get rid of them and stuff like that. And I think that's the issue. If Shawnee is gonna, if you're gonna be a EP and you're gonna be in front of the camera, then you need to when you get in front of that camera, you need to conduct yourself like you are one of those girls on that camera, in front of that camera. You should not be held to a certain standard to where you are right. Like, you can't be off limits to confront. Like, if you do some whack stuff, you should be able to be confronted like everybody else is. But instead, like one of the cast members said, Shawnee doesn't like to be confronted on camera. But again, if it happened on camera, why can't I confront you on camera? You know what I mean?
That's a good question.
Why can't I air my grievances with you on camera? What makes you so special that I can't do that? And I think that because of that, that's why it makes it difficult. I would never want to be on a show with a person like Shawnee, because if I can't be my true authentic self and I got to walk around on eggshells just to appease you so you don't feel disrespected, I don't need to be on the show then. Because if I got to get disrespected by you and your friend and everybody else that's up under you, then y'all need to be able to get it back. But Shawnee can't accept that. That's why she hated on Gloria. That's why she hated on Brandy. Like, people that was going to stand up to her. That's why she hated on them, and that's why they're no longer with us.
So Shawnee is the villain of the show. Shawnee is the villain. Would you go as far as saying Shawnee is the villain of the show?
She is the villain of the show. And
she's the behind-the-scenes villain.
Yeah, it's like Pinky in the brain. She's the brain, and Evelyn is Pinky. Evelyn is her attack dog. She gonna do whatever Shawnee say do. And while Shawnee sit back there with her hand full of hand sanitizer, like,
not hand sanitizer.
I have nothing to do with it.
Shawnee got the Lysol. Like, I have nothing to do with this. It's not me.
At all. Nothing to do with it.
But it's all Shawnee. Yeah, I definitely agree with you there. As far as the court case, I have been following the court case with OG and Evelyn. Like you said, Evelyn said she doesn't want to film with OG, and it might be because of their court case. And their court case is ongoing. It's going on 3 years. It started in 2019. It's now 2021. So their court case is ongoing. I have checked for updates, and it's still ongoing. It's still ongoing.
Is that the defamation suit?
It's ongoing. Yep.
I feel like this suit was a bunch of BS too. Ain't nobody defaming you. Nobody's defaming you. You knew exactly what you did when you posted that emoji of a chimp when you were talking about OG. You knew exactly what the hell you were doing, and so did the rest of us. And no one is dumb but you.
Yeah, we all got it.
But we know exactly what you were doing. So let's not oh God.
Well, Scotty, I want to thank you for joining me for this discussion on Basketball Wives season 9.
Fun. I had so much fun. I didn't curse a lot. I was respectful. Everybody could see my refining. I've been baptized like Evelyn a little bit, so y'all can see my refining after fixing my life for the last of the new year. I'm being very sarcastic. So But I had fun though.
I'm glad. I'm glad to hear that. Stick around. I'm gonna go ahead and end this video. Scotty, I want you to stick around so I can talk to you in the studio. But you guys, thank you for watching as always. And leave a comment and let us know how you feel about Basketball Wives, about OG returning to Basketball Wives after how she was treated last season. Leave a comment and let us know your thoughts. And thanks for watching.